Hello and welcome to my brand new channel. I will start by stating a few reasons why I created this channel, so you can understand where I'm coming from and what's my intention. Basically, I have a big love for photography. I've been doing photography since I was a little child, like 12 or 13. This has always been my passion. And then once I grew up, I was around 17, I rode a motorbike for the first time. It was not a big deal. It was 49 cubic centimeters, about 3 horsepower they said, but it was probably 2. I didn't care at the time. I didn't know any better. It was a small motorbike built in Romania. Look at the landscape here. And it was automatic transmission, only one gear. I think it would reach not more than 60 kilometers an hour. That's probably 35 miles an hour or so. And I was very happy with it. It wasn't even mine, but it was one of my friend's bike, but he was kind enough to let me ride it. I could have done better in this turn, but the turns are very deceptive here. They're really tough. So yeah, as I was saying, it was his motorbike. It was not mine, but he was kind enough to let me ride it once in a while. So yeah, I started to like it, and I decided I'm gonna get a motorcycle one day, a serious motorcycle. But this was in the 80s, late 80s. My country was still communist. It was quite tough to find a good motorcycle. We were basically relying on Eastern made motorcycles, made in East Germany or Russia, or well, the Soviet Union, or Romania or Czech Republic, or so on. Czech Republic was actually Czechoslovakia at the time. So, and time passed. I was very busy doing some other things. I had other projects, and nothing really happened. I'm gonna stop here for a while so you can enjoy the view. So at the time we could not really rely on Western motorcycles. They were really hard to find and they were very expensive. So we had to make do with Eastern Bloc motorcycles, as they call them now. They were mainly two-stroke motorcycles. Only in the Soviet Union they were making the Ural motorcycle. That was basically a copy of the BMW 750. I'm gonna move slowly towards this area so you can see the landscape here as well. And there was not much to choose from, and they were very expensive. It was really expensive and really hard to get a motorcycle, a brand new motorcycle. I could have got a used one, but usually people would just ride them to death. There was not much maintenance back in the days, as the parts were not readily available. So yeah, we had to make do with whatever we had. So I decided I'm gonna get a Romanian motorcycle. It was actually a motorbike. It was 49.5 cubic centimeters. They said it had 5 horsepower, which probably had, but I cannot be sure. Back in the days, in 1987, 88, 89, even early 90s, I wanted two things. I wanted a good professional camera. Everything was on film at the time, so I wanted a good SLR and a good motorbike. And you know, unfortunately I didn't have any of them, because both were very expensive, and I could not rely on my parents to provide the necessary funding. So I decided to wait, and then I did something else in life. Eventually in 1992 yeah, I guess it was 1992, I got my first SLR, my first real SLR. Back until then I was working with the Soviet made Zenit. It was not a bad camera, but it was not a good camera either. It was very reliable and very solid. It was like a tank. So I was dreaming for East German made Praktika, but I could never afford one. So yeah, I had to work with whatever I had. I started my career as a professional photojournalist with that Zenit camera with the lens. I had a few lenses, but none of them was a zoom because I couldn't afford them. But I did pretty well, and that's it basically. And then time passed by, I became an adult, and I had more opportunities in life. So I bought a complete set of Nikon cameras. That's because my first SLR, my first real serious SLR was a Nikon. Had it been anything else, I would be on maybe Canon or whatever else. But it so happened that my first SLR was a Nikon, so I carried on with Nikon. Right now I'm still using the Nikon ecosystem. I'm using DSLRs. I didn't switch to mirrorless yet, and that was a dog, sorry. I didn't switch to mirrorless yet, and I don't think I will switch to mirrorless anytime soon, because they don't give me anything that my DSLR does not. So I understand switching the camera, changing the camera if there's an upgrade, but at this point, at this moment in life, I do not see any upgrade. Sure, a mirrorless has more focus points and probably better image quality, but my Nikon D800 is really good. There is nothing, I mean, yeah, I wish they could have improved a few things, but because no camera is perfect, but still it's very good the way it is. I can do my thing, and just like my motorcycle that I'm going to talk about in a moment, I think if you have something that works for you, then you're set. You don't need to, if you spend your time complaining about the gear you have and how you would like to have this and that and that, and how whatever you have is not good enough, then you'll never be good enough. And then of course your gear will never be good enough. This is one of those tricky curves, and I have to keep it on the right because I don't know what's coming from the other side. Yeah, so that's basically it about my gear. I have a complete set of cameras and lenses. I have a Nikon D800, a D600, and a few others. Like one of the cameras I care about a lot is my Nikon D80, and I know that was not a very popular camera, but I like CCD sensors. The CMOS are fine, are good, are very reliable, and yada yada, but still, in terms of colors and feel, there is nothing like a CCD sensor. So this is why I really wanted to get that Nikon D80, although it's only 10.2 pixels, which by today's standards is not enough, but in my opinion that's more than enough. And as far as I know, there are other photographers much more famous than me that say the same thing. It's up to every one of us to decide for resolution and all kind of stuff and for whatever we want, but I think if 10-12 megapixels should be enough, unless of course you want to do really big prints. So that's about cameras. Maybe I should mention flashes. I have a lot of flashes and a lot of lenses. and most of my lenses are 2.8. I don't really like prime lenses because I'm a very active photographer. I travel on roads like this and all kind of conditions, and I like the comfort of a zoom lens and the peace of mind that a zoom lens gives me. Something that, you know, it just ensures me that I can get the framing I want. And especially in places like this, like the one we're traveling right now, is well, a lot of things are good here. I mean, you just point the camera somewhere and you see something really good, something that is worth taking a picture of. Right now I do not have the cameras with me, I don't have the gear. I travel this area a lot. This is my one of my favorite spots because it's very close to home. I can reach here in about 15 minutes, and every time I come here I find something new. So yeah, but in this area, most of the time, in order to take a good picture, you need a long lens. And the longer lens I currently use is a Nikon 80-200 f2.8. I also have a Tamron 200-400 f5.6, but I don't use it that often. I only use it once in a while. Besides, is big, it's bulky, and when I travel on the motorcycle, I just want to keep my luggage to a minimum. Okay, so now we have a different landscape here. There's the Piatra Craiului mountains in the background. I am not riding very fast because whenever I come here I just want to enjoy the show. I don't need to be fast. Basically, if you ever come here, anywhere you point your camera, you will see something worth take pictures of. It's against the sun. I don't know if you guys see anything. Maybe I should just move on and find another spot. So the purpose of this channel, yeah, basically what I want to do is use the motorcycle to travel to interesting places and take good pictures. This is a mix of motorcycling and photography, mostly photography, because photography is something that I know a lot better than I know motorcycles, although I've been riding them for years and years, probably about 10 years now, with a long break because I got married at some point and my wife said, well, you gotta be a responsible husband and father, and there's no room for a motorcycle in this marriage. So yeah, you know, I really thought that happy wife happy life thing is real, but it wasn't. So yeah, eventually we divorced, and now I'm back on motorcycles. Right now I have a Aprilia Pegaso. That's the one I'm riding now. You will see it a little bit later in the video, and it's a 2003 650 cube centimeters monocylinder, 50 horsepower and a lot of torque. I picked this one because I liked it, and I always wanted an adventure motorcycle, and being monocylinder, yeah, of course it vibrates a little more than a twin or 3-cylinder or even 4 cylinders, but it has a lot of torque. It packs a big punch at low revs, and that's exactly what I need for this kind of road. I gotta tell you guys, I like older motorcycles because they're easy to work on. I am used to work on the motorcycle, to do a lot of things myself, and these older things are very easy to work on. You just do it. You don't need to know a lot of things. yeah, there was a dog, and I had some very unfortunate and painful experience with a dog like 2 months ago, and now I'm very, very, very careful when I encounter dogs. I'll try to find that place. So yeah, this is a long intro. It's longer than I expected, but it's a beautiful autumn morning. I don't know when I'm gonna publish this video, probably one of these days. As you can see, the leaves are not yellow yet, they're still green. I think it's gonna be a long autumn, and that's good for me, both for my photography and for riding motorcycles. We'll see about that. For now, I thank you for joining me, and as soon as I will find a suitable place to park my motorcycle, I will stop and I will show you guys around. I'll show you the motorcycle, I'll tell you a few things about it, and then we'll see what's gonna happen in the next video. This is an Aprilia Pegaso. It's a it's a 2003, and it only has about 30,000 kilometers on board. I installed these crash guards. These are custom made by a Polish company that I found somewhere on the internet, but I'm really happy with them. They fit perfectly, and you know, they just give the motorcycle that special look, special adventure look. Besides, they're really useful in case of an event. This is how the place looks like. I am not a videographer. I'm not really good with this. I do videos just for my own pleasure, and sometimes I do events and I do them quite well, but it's not something that I really, really, really like. So guys, this is the gear I'll be using for this series of videos. I'm gonna show you the cameras too, and in this video I'll make sure to insert some images, some photographs I took while traveling around, so you can have an idea. The place is very popular. The road goes from Brasov to Rysznów. It's basically the road that goes to Bran. Bran is the place that is well known for the Dracula's castle, for the Bran castle. It's not actually Dracula castle, as the legendary King Dracula, the so-called Dracula, never actually lived there, but that's a story for a different episode. And then once you get to Moieciu de Jos, you turn right. Alright, this is it for today, guys. I really thank you for your attention, and I'll see you in the next episode.